You know what deplatforming is?
No.
Deplatforming is basically you and I don't have a right to have this conversation.
Really?
Yes. I had a friend of mine, a black. She says she's non-binary. She's a black woman when I met her.
Okay.
She's the same as she was before. Anyway, she told me I don't have a right to have these conversations with white people.
Why?
Because white people shouldn't get. I don't know. Did you see my post about the Karen?
I
Yes.
did. I did.
Yes. And so a person, a friend of mine, said, "You don't have a right. We're not having this conversation." And she really, in her mind, had authority over my Facebook page for a minute. And so I was like, "No, actually, we're going to have this conversation." And then it would turn into a But my point is, deplatforming is the idea that you are going to take away the right of you, James Strong, a white man, predominantly white man, but anyone who is speaking contrary to their vision of social justice, and that they have a right. And deplatforming theoretically is they could come here and stop you from doing this, which is why they really don't like people with guns.
Well, and which is probably why that stuff doesn't fly out here.
No, there's no deplatforming out here.
No, there's no deplatform. So many people in this part of the country, they have more guns than some Central American countries.
Which is just why there's every time there's a mass shooting, they're all on board with some kind of massive gun control measure. And I don't own a gun. I gun shooting, I know how to shoot.
Sure.
But I just don't own a gun. It's not my. But I end up defending. I oppose assault weapons ban. I have a very.
Well, you have to define what is an assault
weapon.
Well,
yeah, I understand that there's. I'm talking about assault weapons ban as it's defined by the government. I'm not. I don't understand that. The way they define assault weapons is stupid and all that. I'm not getting into that.
Sure.
I'm saying that that's what they call it. They have a. I don't think people need to have rocket launchers, but I don't have a problem. I don't think that it should be illegal for a person to have an AK-47. You know,
there's laws against ways to use that. You can't use it a certain way.
Right.
You can't take it into a Walmart. Okay.
Right.
If you want to go to the range and shoot with it, that's fine. If you want to keep
if someone has a semi-automatic rifle, I do not believe that there should be a law against a semi-automatic rifle.
Sure. I believe the same way, and I'm not a big gun. I'm a gun advocate, but I'm not a huge gun owner.
Right.
I'm not one of these. I know people who own 12, 13, 15, 75 guns.
But that's part of their culture, and that's why
that's exactly right.
And that's why
it's not part of mine.
If you take that away, it has an impact on society. It's why I'm not a big fan of the way they talk about the shutdowns. I think we need to be careful. I think we need to take precautions. You're taking precaution here.
Exactly.
I agree with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Private decisions to mitigate risk. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
When you start saying, well, everyone in this town has to wear a mask, well, you have to use the police to enforce that. They're not going to go around arresting. The cops already said they don't want to do that.
Right.
So you, on the one hand, you say you support the protesters, but then you say you're going to make everyone wear a mask because in your mind you're trying to project a consciousness of control. Mm-hmm. But there are people like myself, when you say law, I have enough libertarian blood in me to know what a law is. A law is in the government projection through force.
Well, Americans have always been, we've always been the type of people that if you tell us we can't, then we want to.
Right.
We've always been that way. That's just our nature. And if you say, look, we'd like you to wear a mask because you have to convince us to do the right thing.
Absolutely, right.
And if people don't, you're always going to have a percentage who are just they just want to be contrary. But if most people aren't doing it, you probably didn't make the argument the right way.
And I don't think they did.
But you have to. I mean, with the whole mask thing, you got to listen to the smart people.
Right.
I'm always one. I don't manage my own money.
Right.
I have a guy who knows a whole lot more about
Right.
money than me. If I'm sick, I go to a guy who has been in medical school. Okay, I don't listen to the guy who sells pills on George Norrie.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to listen to the smart people all the time. And we listen to the smart people. We listen to the doctors. We listen to the scientists on this COVID-19. Almost every one of them says wear a mask if you're going to be within 6 feet of people. If you're not going to wear a mask, social distance, 6 feet or more, and stay outside. That's kind of the common denominator. They're all saying that, okay? But by the same token, you can't let the economy go to hell either,
Right.
okay? And the smart people who are the economists are saying, okay, you can't shut down everything. Well, we're giving everybody $600 a week, so nobody has to go to work. $600 a week plus unemployment, you have plenty of stuff. Okay, but if nobody's going to work, how are you going to fill up the grocery stores?
Right.
Who's going to go ahead and fix the power line when it goes down?
And that's why I oppose the shutdown, because it's not a real.
We never had a true shutdown in Missouri, not like they did in California, not like they still have in Canada, not like they had in the UK
Right. But see,
or Italy.
And the thing about those, why I oppose, and I don't get into other countries because I don't live there.
Mm-hmm.
But in America, Cuomo was like at the point. And I went, again, why I feel the way I feel. I started out, Cuomo, great guy. I'm going to watch him.
At first, I thought he was doing the right
thing. And then
thing.
I'm listening to him, and I really looked into him. I go, man, this dude, what I saw from just trying to support the dude, it's absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful, his performance.
When you peel back the onion, you have to think that. I mean, especially what he did with the nursing homes. Especially what he did
after
with the
he
nursing
met
homes.
with the nursing home people saying, I'm going to make sure that nobody touches you.
Yeah.
That's mafia stuff.
Yeah.
Why would that meeting even happen? Gretchen Whitmer had the same meeting. In fact, it seems like the places now, if you go,
That's the governor of Michigan. Yes.
So New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Michigan, all these states had that agreement. Nursing homes, you have to take COVID-19 patients. That accounts for 66% of our nation's mortality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you look at the number of nursing home deaths there, close to 70%.
Yeah.
And then throw in California, they had the same law. Throw in California, you're at 72%.
Mm-hmm.
That's concerning to me, because if that doesn't happen, we're not where we are. Because they made it like the deaths were random in general. They weren't random.
No, they weren't.
And here's the thing. Did you know that this is something I found out that New York probably did this too, but California was kicking out the poor nursing home people to bring in the COVID-19 people.
Really?
And then so these elderly people were infected, and then they kicked them out they put them into the temporary homes who then turned them out. And they weren't even telling their families.
Unbelievable.
So and this is Garcetti. Garcetti knew about it. He claims he doesn't know about it. There's evidence he knew about it. So he's number one on my. You talk about the tribe's greatest, the mob's greatest achievement was that man. Garcetti is the epitome of what their vision of leadership looks like. If you want to know what it looks like, why I actually can't say that I'm not considering possibly voting for Trump, honestly. Even though I don't support, I think he's part of the problem. I'm looking at Trump as bad as him and his worse. Garcetti makes him look like freaking FDR, or makes him look like Abraham Lincoln.
Well, I have friends who live in L.A., and Garcetti is just he's if it were possible, has ruined L.A. The biggest problem in L.A. Is real estate costs too darn much money,
right?
And it just it's so expensive to live there. It's beautiful. The
right.
weather's perfect. The women are unbelievable. The opportunity is great, but it costs so much money to live there.
Yes,
an unbelievable amount of money to live there. That's one reason they have a homeless problem.
Yes,
it's because if you're right on the cusp, and if you're working every week, you can make your rent. But if you have a 2-week window where you're not working, you can never catch up. It's a problem.
They're going to have a massive homeless problem.
So what does he do? He puts a huge tax on real estate to fund the homeless, which throws more people out on the street. But that's okay, because if it gets worse, we'll just raise the taxes again. California and if there's a light at the end of the tunnel, something you have to remember, California is just off the rails with its leftist policies. Okay?
Right.
But not too long ago, let's go back to 1980 again. Okay,
Right. Yep.
You were a young boy in U City school system, and the governor of California was Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
The president of the United States, maybe he wasn't president then, but Richard Nixon was also a governor of California. California was a solid conservative Republican state not that long ago.
No.
And it has turned 180 degrees. But who's to say it won't do it again? Those on the left say, well, it certainly won't happen again because we're more than 50% Hispanic. We're a mostly minority state. Who thinks that minorities are going to continue to vote for the left? Who says that? Who says that?
Again, Democrats and it's something where you, Donald Trump, Jamie, and I are coalescing. It's on the idea of, I remember you said something about the black-white thing, and it's a complicated thing because I'll tell you and I had a conversation with another driver yesterday about this, and we were talking about how if it was up to us, we would never have to deal with race. A lot of people want to go, why you guys talk about race? Because people make us deal with it. And I don't think in a bad way. People ask us about it because they're not comfortable asking the mob about it. And they have black friends who are conservative who are on the other side. So people are going to come to us, and I think it's our response. I feel like it's a good thing to respond. But Jamie and Trump and you, I remember you said at one point, but this black-white thing. The black-white thing is something that's forced on black people. If you look statistically speaking, and this is still the same, black voters, self-identification, it's like 24% liberal, and that doesn't even necessarily mean leftist. That's broad liberal. That's, about 26% conservative, 44% moderate. Black voters are a very moderate aggregate population. Look at his Latinos, 37, 38% moderate. Look at the nation, about 37 to 36% moderate. We're not that different.
That's what I keep saying, and maybe I keep saying this to myself, like Dorothy and the ruby slippers. There's no place like home. If I wish it, it'll happen. Okay,
right.
But your day today, you've had a long day today.
Right.
What time did you get up this morning?
5:30.
Okay. I assume you got ready, did some things, went to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Worked hard, fought traffic,
right.
Came out here.
Right.
You're doing a podcast.
Right.
Okay. Did you make money today?
Yes.
Good money?
Yes.
Nice. Very good. What's that got to do with the color of your skin?
Nothing.
There you go. People are comfortable around those who are like them.
Right.
And less all the time. It's less how we look and more how we act. I did the same thing. I got up. I went to the gym. I got to work half a day from home because I'm working on a project here. Then I went to work and worked a half a day there. Came by here, cleaned up the
right.
pool area, ate dinner, did some things around here, and I'm doing a podcast. What's that got to do with the color of my skin? Nothing. But our days were very similar. Very similar.
One thing I noticed, black people and white people both mow their lawns in squares. They both mow their lawns vertically. You know what I mean?
I thought everybody mowed their lawn in squares.
Exactly.
Don't they?
That's my point.
Yeah, okay.
It's one thing I always thought of when I was like.
I thought this was a trick question.
No. But that's back, and that's where going back to tribalism. It feels new, but I remember in U City, I remember I wrote a paper, questioning the. It's funny because now I'm seeing the stuff that I wrote in 1985 coming out in major publications, and I wrote a paper saying that race actually didn't exist. Because you can't find a specific demarcation line where white stops and black starts. And I said, and I did a whole thing about the science of reflecting, right? What is the actual functional definition? Like, why is it that we have brown? The reason why my skin is different color than yours is not that we're genetically different people. It's that more of my ancestors lived in a place that needed more resistance from the sun.
More melanin because you had
Right.
more resistance to the sun, so you didn't get cancer.
Well, no, it wasn't cancer. It was because